All right, so you know how sometimes you're just scrolling and you find something that completely changes how you think about a problem? Well, that just happened to me. I was deep in a GitHub rabbit hole, you know how it is, and I see this thing, a really powerful multilingual AI model, all packed into a single Jupyter notebook. My first thought, no way, not possible. Turns out I was very wrong. And this is the line that really hooked me. It's right from their technical report, and it's such a bold claim. Redefines what a small model can achieve. I mean, when you see something like that, you just have to find out if they can back it up, right? So yeah, this is where it all began for me. One single notebook file. No messy dependencies, just pure PyTorch. And I'll be honest, my skepticism was high. We're all so used to hearing about these gigantic models with hundreds of billions of parameters. So a little 3.35 billion parameter model claiming to be top tier, I was fully expecting to be underwhelmed. But that feeling started to shift pretty fast once I realized this isn't just a single model. As we're about to see, it's actually a whole collection, a family of models, each one with its own special job. Think of it like a specialized toolkit. You start with a base model. That's the foundation for everything. Then you've got the global model, which is kind of your all-purpose jack-of-all-trades tool. And this is where it gets really cool, you have these specialists, earth, fire, and water. Each one is fine-tuned to be an expert in specific languages from around the world. And here's the breakdown. So if your work involves languages like Swahili or Arabic, you'd grab Tiny Aya Earth. Working with Hindi or Tamil, you'd want Tiny Aya Fire. It's this philosophy of using the right tool for the specific job. And it's such a smart way to get peak performance without having to build a single, monstrously huge model. So that leads to the million-dollar question, right? How on earth did they do it? How do you pack so much language skill into such a tiny package? Well, the answer isn't just about the training. It's about some really brilliant choices they made in the design and the data itself. So what's the magic trick here? Well, here's the thing. It's not magic at all. It's just some seriously clever engineering. So let's pull back the curtain and look at a couple of the key ingredients that make Tiny Aya tick. First off, this isn't just one massive straight-shot training process. It's more like a multi-stage dance. They start with a base. Then they fine-tune specialist models on regional data. But here's the clever part. They then merge those specialists back with a global model. This process gives the final models both incredible depth in their specialty and a really impressive breadth of knowledge overall. Okay, hang on. Let's back up a second. Because before any of that training even happens, they made a decision that is absolutely critical. It's about the tokenizer, the component that breaks text down into little pieces for the model. And for me, this was the big aha moment. They used a balanced approach so that high-resource languages like English didn't just dominate and crowd everyone else out. It gives every single language a much fairer shot. And you can see the result right here. I mean, look at those green bars for Tiny Aya. In this chart, lower is better. It means the model needs fewer pieces or tokens to understand a character. For scripts that are often underrepresented, like Cohere or Gez, the difference is just staggering. The model is just built from the ground up to be more efficient at understanding these languages. And there's one more little architectural trick that I just think is brilliant. It's called interleaved attention. I spent way too long trying to wrap my head around this, but here's the best way to think about it. Imagine most of the model's layers are using a magnifying glass. They're looking really closely at neighboring words. But then every few layers, they swap that out for a pair of binoculars. They zoom out and look at the entire sentence. It's this incredibly efficient way to get both local detail and the big picture, making it fast and smart. Okay, so we've got a handle on how it's built, but the real proof is in the pudding, right? How well does this thing actually perform when you put it to the test? Let's dive into the benchmarks, because honestly, the results are just wow. Just look at this. It's a sea of green. This is Tiny Aya going head-to-head with a larger model on a translation benchmark. Every single green bar represents a language where Tiny Aya came out on top. That's 46 wins out of 61 languages. It's the classic underdog story playing out in real time, and it's just so cool to see smart design win out over sheer size. And hey, remember those specialized models we talked about? Here's the payoff. This chart shows that when you use the right tool for the job, like using Tiny Aya Fire for South Asian languages, you get a significant performance boost. See how that dark blue dot, the specialist model, jumps way up? That specialization really, really matters. All right, charts and graphs are one thing, but honestly, the best part about this whole project is just how easy it is to get your hands on. So, enough talk. Let's walk through how you can actually run it yourself. Seriously, it couldn't be simpler. First things first, you just need to download the model. And it is literally this one line of code. You just use snapshot download to grab everything to need right from Hugging Face. That's it. Step 1 done. Step 2 is just as easy. You fire up the model and the tokenizer using the classes they provide right there in the notebook. And the thing I really love here is that it's not buried under tons of complex libraries. It's just clean, simple PyTorch. So refreshing. And finally, step 3. You format your prompt using their chat template, you call the generate function, and that's it. 1, download. 2, load. 3, generate. In just those 3 little steps, you've got this seriously capable multilingual AI running right there on your own machine. It's awesome. Okay, now for some real talk. No model is a magic bullet, and a big part of really understanding a tool is knowing where it shines and where it doesn't. So let's be honest about Tiny Aya's limits and trade-offs. So the big one is this. The model just works better when you talk to it in English. It's still really capable in other languages, but there's a definite performance gap. And this isn't really a knock on Tiny Aya specifically, it's a huge challenge for the entire field. Moving beyond this reliance on English is kind of the next great frontier in multilingual AI. The other trade-off is more practical. It's what happens when you try to run this on, say, your phone. You have to quantize it, which shrinks the model down, but can cost a little bit of performance. And as you can see, your speed is going to depend on your hardware. But what's amazing is that even on a phone that's a few years old, you're still getting a very usable speed of around 10 tokens per second. It's all about that balance between size, speed, and the device you're on. So, after diving deep into all this, what are the big lessons here? Well, first, that small can absolutely be mighty. Smart design really can beat brute force size. Second, data is destiny. That balanced tokenizer, the curated datasets, that's the real secret sauce here. And third, and maybe most importantly, you can and should try this yourself. The fact that it's open weight and lives in a single notebook just lowers the barrier to entry almost to zero. Which brings me to my last question, and this one's for you. Now that an AI this powerful and this multilingual can literally live in your pocket, what are you going to build with it? What does this make possible that wasn't possible before? Note, this explainer is for reference only. Take this further. I'm genuinely excited to see what you discover. Comment topics you like covered, leave a rating, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Until next time.